what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Give and Go, the NBA show. I'm your host, Dante Williams, and co-hosting this show with me is my brother, Jimmy Williams. And we got two special guests today. We got my boy Juice, and we got my
Yes,
boy
sir.
X.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
I think it's been, what has it been, 3 months?
It's
What
been
has
a
it been,
couple
three
months. It's been many moons.
months? And it's been so much going on to the point, like, I don't know. I think I just couldn't take it no more. All the stuff I've been seeing. Um,
Mhm.
so before we get into all the other BS, I'm gonna show y'all this little highlight from yesterday. I'm pretty sure.
We got to kick it off right. We got to kick it
Yeah,
off
we got to
right.
kick it off right
Yes,
because
sir.
what I seen yesterday was murder. Uh, literally. Uh, so I'm gonna play this little highlight right quick. Y'all can see it on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all can
Yeah.
see it. I bet.
Has gotten antsy here in Memphis. Winner takes a 3-2 lead in this opening round series. Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker! And if there's anything that will get this,
He didn't do that for real. He didn't do that for real. That was a you pulled that from 2K. You pulled that from 2K. That was a 2K clip. Because
2022 NBA
you can't do that in real life. You can't do that in real life. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. That was. I mean, we expected that's Ja Morant, but in other seriousness, so before we get into actual playoffs and stuff, I'm gonna put this question up that I think it happened this morning. But so if you didn't hear, Russell Westbrook completely wiped his whole Instagram. Now, initially he just wiped all Lakers, content from his Instagram. Now he wiped the whole page. Like there's no posts, no vids.
Okay.
So
You
I want
said
to get y'all
Westbrook did
thoughts
this?
on that. Because a lot of people think he is out of LA, but I think his contract is for like a year and like 40 some million. So it's going. The question is who gonna take that contract? Who gonna want to trade for it? So uh, I'm gonna get Juice's opinion first because I know he a Lakers fan. So I'm gonna get your thoughts on that right quick.
I don't think he's gonna go nowhere. I think they're gonna try to figure it out and just retool around Russ, AD, and Brian. With Russ' contract being like 44 mil over the next year, it's gonna be hard to get rid of that contract unless you throw in a draft pick. I've heard some rumors. We all heard Houston and shit, and
Charlotte, I think I heard Charlotte.
Charlotte. Yeah, I definitely heard Charlotte. Charlotte is low key interesting, but I don't see a scenario where the Lakers get anything back worth of value. Not especially not no damn Gordon Hayward. I don't think he worth it. Now, if you talk about LaMelo, cool, but I don't see them getting rid of LaMelo either. So
Maybe Rozier, maybe that could maybe be a possibility, and like another player. But
yeah, but they not trying to get with that 2027 first round pick. That's their last pick. So
yeah,
I think THT is gone. I think a lot of their little role players outside of I think Austin Reeves is gonna stay. Stanley Johnson is gonna stay. They need to try to re-sign Malik Monk. I don't know if it's gonna happen because he's definitely gonna get at least about like 9, 10, 11 mil a year, just based off how he's playing. So that's gonna be kind of hard to get Monk back, but they need to keep him and then kind of like retool around them niggas. And AD need to stay healthy. We kind of figured it out towards the end of the season with Russ. So I think now with Vogel being gone and, they need to let the front office do what the front office do. I honestly think they should get rid of Pelinka ass and bring back Magic, but that's just me. But that's another topic for another day.
All right, X, I'm gonna let you go. Let me get your thoughts on that situation right quick.
I mean, I pretty much agree with Juice. I feel like he ain't gonna go nowhere because they brought him there, and I feel like it'd be worth too much for them to let him go because it's too much money for them to try to trade with somebody else. And then also, like you said, who they gonna trade for? You know what I'm saying? Like there's not too many people out there that really want Westbrook right now. You know, to be honest. So like, even if they do, even if they had like picks to trade, you know, with him, I don't think it'd be too much. But I feel like next year he'd be a little better. I honestly do feel that way. I mean, Russ my dude. I never wanted him to go to. I never wanted him to go to the Lakers, but Russ my dude, man. Like I fucks with Russ, and people really underestimate Brody, but I don't know, man. He just had a rough year, I feel like, but as long as Mr. Glass can stay healthy, I feel like they'd be all right.
Man, you gotta stay fucking healthy, man.
He said Mr. Glass.
So
Mr. Glass.
I guess I got to be Stephen A today because they both sugarcoating. First off, if they can get rid of Russell Westbrook, they need to do that. They need to do that immediately. It didn't work. It's probably not going to work. But I mean, his whole deleting his IG posts, he probably trying to find ways to lock himself in for next season. He probably just going off the grid. LeBron did it when he was in Cleveland, Miami. He stayed off social media and locked in. But I mean, you can't really take too much from him deleting his social media. I mean, that's nothing to me. But as far as the Lakers moving forward, I mean, they fired Vogel. They wanted Vogel to bench Westbrook. So now you fire Vogel, and then you're going to bring in another coach that you want them to listen to you. So it's all going to be a part of who they want to bring in as far as the next head coach and what that head coach wants to do as far as like running that team. And ultimately, what LeBron want to do. I mean, LeBron could be like, I don't want him on the team next year, and he will not be on the team.
But check this out. You got two coaches they could have had that are doing good right now. Ty Lue. And Ty Lue wanted to.
I don't think Ty Lue wanted to.
No,
he wanted the job, but they wanted to pick his coaches, and he wasn't going for that.
Yeah, they want to pick his coaching staff, and Jason Kidd doing really good in Dallas right now.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, when you got Luka, it's a little bit easier, but
he only one player.
I would give more credit to Boston head coach. They look like a completely different team.
But
under
Dallas
Brad
defensively though, and Jalen Brunson over there, he got Jalen Brunson. Who?
Yeah, Jalen Brunson has been shout out to Jalen Brunson, from the Illinois area. But
we'll get to the next question. We finna talk about the real topic. We finna talk about the KD slander. We finna talk about Kyrie. We finna talk about everything.
Oh, you throwing in? We ain't even get through we ain't talk about the full season. We already jumping into the. All right.
I mean,
let's do it, man. Let's get it over with, man.
The season.
Drew's been waiting on this moment, man. Let's get it. Let's say what you got to say, man, so we get this conversation.
I'm gonna make it quick, and then I'm gonna give it to y'all. But the Nets got swept. The Nets had an interesting season.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
James. So James Harden asked for a trade to Philly. They get Ben Simmons back. Ben Simmons hasn't played a game. He didn't play in the playoffs. Mental and injuries, supposedly. Kyrie came back towards the end of the season, but he gets a lot of talked about because of him not wanting to get the vaccine. And then you got KD, who probably look like his worst version of himself probably ever in his career. So I want to get some thoughts on the KD slander. The first part of this question first, because I think a lot of the LeBron fans are out there are hating to a certain degree. I've got messages inboxed to me talking about you need to start the show because LeBron best.
Oh, they've been waiting for us to bring this show. Just to talk about this topic.
People been hitting me up on Snapchat. They like, bro,
interesting. I'm glad we got fans out there that appreciate this back and forth. So X, you can go first. We're gonna let Juice go after you. I feel like Juice gonna have a lot more to say about the situation, but
this KD slander, man. Everybody talking about, oh, is this going to affect KD's legacy and blah blah blah. I'm like, man, to me, honestly, well, first off, I feel like the Nets, the reason why they was even in the position to even play the Celtics in the playoffs is because Kyrie didn't play through the season. He didn't get that. He didn't get the vaccine. He didn't play. If Kyrie would have played during the
You
season,
talking about they would have had like a higher seed?
yeah, and they wouldn't even have played the Celtics, bro. Like they wouldn't even have to play them. So, but
But
either way,
they still had James Harden at the time, but I think it was like they was holding that Kyrie thing over. I didn't mean to cut you off, but they was like kind of holding that Kyrie thing over all season long. Like
yeah, like Kyrie, like the games that Kyrie played, like the away games, he was doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? He was holding it down. He was scoring. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they needed that the whole season. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like, so,
right.
but with the KD slander, so like I don't give KD no passes. Like that man is 7 foot. You know he's the best scorer in the league. Best scorer we've seen. You know, like damn near our whole life. So like he don't get no passes for that. So, but at the same time, I still do feel like you know they were going against the number one defense. You know what I'm saying? Like like every time KD got the ball, they was on him. You know what I'm saying? Like they was double teaming them. They was beating them up in the paint. They was doing whatever they could. So he was not, and he was off every game. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, he don't get no passes for that because he's still the best scorer in the league. He's still 7 feet. He still, you know, can do way more than everybody else can. So ain't no reason for you to be missing shots that you normally make throughout the season. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, like I can't give him no pass. I can't give him no, especially not Kyrie. Like they got clowned, bro. They got swept. They like it's over with. Like I can't, I'm not giving the Nets no pass. The only thing I can say is Ben Simmons is I can't stand Ben Simmons right now, bro. Like Ben Simmons a whole hole out here, bro. Like how you not gonna play, bro? Like that's nah.
Go ahead, Juice. Go ahead. It's your moment, man. Go ahead, say what you.
Nah,
Say what you gonna say.
I'm really gonna keep it short. I'm gonna elaborate a little bit, but I'm gonna keep it short. Uh, as regarded as the best player in the world right now, as one of the top three players outside of Giannis and Brian, uh, KD fell short. This is one of those things where you're the superstar on the team. This is where you pick to go because you could have still been winning chips in Golden State. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Money wise, you could play around with it, but
let's be honest. If KD really wanted to stay, Golden State would have found the way to pay that man.
yeah, but from that aspect. No.
Because you finna give excuses, and I don't like this.
No, I'm not finna give. I'm not finna
You give a lot of excuses, and I noticed that.
I'll wait. I'll wait till you get done.
I've noticed that you give a lot of excuses when it comes to your favorite player, and that's okay. But let's just be honest. Let's be real. So he chose to go there to play with his boy Kyrie, and like I said, this series, yeah. I do blame Kyrie. Kyrie has a big role in this whole situation because he didn't play half the season, and we know what happened with James Harden and everything like that. But you faced with the cards you dealt, and you got to deal with it. And it's the Celtics, even though they're the 1 seed, but you were the favorites coming in this year. So for KD, we saw the number. We see the numbers and what was going on. For you to relatively, you came up short. You know what I'm saying? Like as a superstar, as the best player on the team, you find a way to win games. And there should be it's always a different criteria when it comes to superstars. Because and I hate breaking this up, but it's really facts. Like If LeBron was to do this, we would be talking about this until draft time. We would be talking about it like he didn't
You
show
can't
up.
really go by. You can't really go by it off
Third.
paper.
And it's just facts. You know what I'm saying? Like KD's supposed to be the leader on this team, but he's not leading the team. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? It still feel like, and I'm not saying this. Somebody else told me this, but somebody told me that it looks like KD can be the best player on a championship team, but he can't be the leader of a championship team. And I'm like, kind of got a point, but I'm not even like, I don't know. I can't really say. I like Kevin Durant. I really do like him as a player. And I'm not, and I don't, like, Kyrie deserves blame too because you ain't fucking show up in the playoffs either. He didn't show up at all either. And my thing is, how in game 3, how does Bruce Brown is your leading scorer in the whole entire game in points with 26 points? That doesn't, that just don't, you find a way to make it work. I feel like all superstar players, top 5 in the world, best players in the world, if you got that title, everybody should be held to a certain standard and criteria. It shouldn't be a difference in anything like that. And everybody should get the same slander. Even Trae Young. We were just talking about this. I was talking about this earlier today on Facebook. Trae Young and everything, but that's my take. Like, it should be the same criteria when it comes to judging superstars and not showing up and showing up. And KD didn't show up. He just didn't. Like the last game, yeah, but he just didn't show up, and that's not okay. He has to show. He has to be better. Like he gonna come back, but he has to be better. And this is on him. This falls on him.
So much for keeping this short. Okay. So I got to touch on a couple of things he said, of course. So when it comes to the Golden State thing, yeah, KD could have stayed, but I look at the whole Golden State.
Somebody
Y'all hear me now?
Yeah, okay.
I think of the whole thing as a whole, right? So say KD wanted to stay, right? They got Steph, Clay, and Draymond to pay. I look at it from a GM aspect. I don't know if they would have been able to keep all 4 of them on the same team. Mind you, if they had to choose, they'll probably choose like KD over. Well, they'll probably choose Draymond as far as keeping Draymond on KD because he's been there. You know what I'm saying? But as far as them trying to pay all 4 of them, I don't know if that would have worked. That's why I was going with Juice Point when he first said it. I think financially it wasn't gonna be no way they could pay Steph $40 million, Clay $35 million, D $40 million, Draymond like $5. I'm assuming Draymond make $25. So financially, I don't know if it would have worked. Second, this playoff loss kind of remind me of like when LeBron and D Wade and Chris Bosh all joined up together, right? And they lost to Dallas in the first year, and we all looking at them like, what happened? Y'all got 3 superstars on y'all team and it didn't work. So with this whole season as a whole, like you said, they was the favorites, right? But they was the favorites with KD, Kyrie, and Harden were supposed to be playing. Obviously, that didn't happen. So at the middle of the season, people still had them as the favorites, and then James Harden get traded. Then it kind of changed things a little bit. Then, they get Ben Simmons. He don't play. He got back problems, mental illness issues, stuff like that. So they already was going to the playoffs at a different disadvantage because the Celtics and all these other teams in playoffs had like better chemistry. Even the Bulls probably got better chemistry than the Nets. But as far as like the KD slander, I wouldn't say I give him passes. Like I look at him the same aspect as LeBron, because they the top players up there. Juice ain't trying to hear that, but
because you lying.
But I don't like. I'm not gonna. So, like I told y'all when we had conversations outside this, I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and say KD suck. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like the whole game. I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off watching KD play because, like you said, Bruce Brown had 26 points. KD kept passing the ball. I kind of look at like the coaching aspect because I'm like, so what was the talk?
Steve Nash gotta go.
I was like, what was the talk before the game? Like, was it just to like kind of have KD just distribute more because he know they double teaming him? So at the same time, Bruce Brown was scoring, but it was like, Right. So it was like, what was the conversation as far as like KD being the scorer of that game or KD being the facilitator? Because we all know LeBron can facilitate, defend, all that. So LeBron and KD game is different. I'm not saying LeBron's not a scorer because LeBron was averaging like 30 points per game this season, but I felt like because he had to, because AD was out and Westbrook was kind of up and down. But as far as facilitating the game, LeBron is better at game. KD is strictly a scorer. KD didn't really start passing like that till he got to Golden State.
That's why
When he was at OKC, when he was in OKC, Westbrook was doing most of the distributing ball. KD was just strictly scoring. Golden State, he had to move the ball. He had two great shooters around him. Mind you, like I said, with all the stuff happening with the Nets this season, with Kyrie, James Harden, Joe Harris, them having lack of size, like it just wasn't a really good season. But not to disregard KD, like KD dropped 39 the last game, but I felt like he forced some shots, but I felt like he had to, because people was coming at his head about scoring. And mind you, that first game they lost by 1. Now I feel like if they win that first game, I feel like it was a momentum shift.
That's because Kyrie went off though. KD,
he did, but after that he didn't play the same. I don't know if it's because, like I said, everybody was saying he been fasting or whatever. He just didn't look like his energy was there. But that first game, I felt like if Jason Tatum don't make that layup, I felt like the whole tide of the series changed. I felt like Brooklyn would have had more momentum. But since Boston won that at a game winner, they won at home, and then they beat them the next game. It's just they had the confidence. They already had Marcus Smart alone got the confidence for the whole team. Like, so
that's what I was trying to say when Juice was talking. You can't. I feel like you can't really go off of favorites, bro. Like favorites, especially.
It's like the NCAA tournament sometimes. Like you never know like what you gonna get. Yeah, but like I said,
I'm pretty sure the Lakers were favored to go to the playoffs, but they didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I'm pretty sure.
But as far as he's saying, LeBron would get slandered to the draft. KD is definitely going to get slandered. KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons are going to be slandered until next season. Until all them be on the same court.
About it every day.
Yeah, I've been seeing posts, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. People just. They even had a dude from Power. They had him as Kyrie talking about LeBron reading him that note. It was like, yeah, I knew you was gonna be here this whole time. I knew you wasn't gonna make it. Like, I feel like they gonna get their slander. Probably not as much as like I feel like people trying to fill that void for all the years. Like LeBron like got upset and then they just like, all right, now it's our time to get at KD for a while, which that's fine. That's fine because I mean they lost.
As much slander as LeBron though. Like nobody would ever get as much slander as LeBron doing something bad.
Yeah, nobody.
Because I haven't heard anybody say like KD is the GOAT. Like LeBron is always in the GOAT conversation. Yeah, I've never seen anybody put Kevin Durant as the GOAT.
No, look. Let me just say this right quick. LeBron himself thinks he's the GOAT. He's come out and said it multiple times. So if you claiming you the GOAT and you don't make the playoffs, then yeah, people gonna come at your head. You say you the best player in the world, you the voice of the league, all this other stuff. Yeah, people gonna be at your head. Same reason people like KD here, because people put KD and LeBron on the same level.
Yeah, but people don't say Kevin Durant is like the GOAT of basketball. People say he's like the best scorer.
This is the thing, though. They have not put KD on that same pedestal as they have done LeBron.
The face of the league, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like LeBron, like people look at LeBron as like the GOAT. I've never heard anybody say Kevin Durant is like the GOAT. Like, but as far as like scoring and talent wise, KD always.
He might be the best scorer in history. Like he might be the best scorer.
But the Celtics, I do.
So what's the criteria? Because like, what's the standard that we hold these players to? Because that's a really big question. There can't be different criteria if you're like the number 1 and 2 player in the fucking world. There can't be no
what I'm saying, like, have you ever heard anybody say like Kevin Durant is like?
I mean, that's cool, but that's not my question. My question is, why is there different criteria when it comes to superstars? Like, why are like superstar players held to the same standard as everybody else.
I feel like
You know what
KD. So even though KD's not in that conversation as the GOAT, I feel like he's still held to the same standard as LeBron.
But I will say this before I'm gonna change the question right quick. But the only thing I'm gonna throw in is I think Steve Nash did a poor job in that series. He made no adjustments. You
He
got
needs to be
dudes.
I
gone.
mean,
You
the
got
only
dudes like
to your
He
point, the
needs to
only
be gone.
adjustments I seen him make was like putting Blake Griffin in and kind of switching up the
you got
lineup.
LaMarcus. You got
But-
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Game
You got
four.
LaMarcus Aldridge sitting on the bench. You got Andre
But-
Drummond. You can have for rebounds.
But you gotta look at it from a basketball standpoint, right? You put LaMarcus Aldridge in the game. Who is he guarding? Nobody. No. Let me finish. Blake Griffin was at least playing some defense, so you could throw Blake Griffin. LaMarcus Aldridge could have got them points. But at the same time, on the other end, LaMarcus Aldridge was going to get out rebounded.
You said who he guarding? Who KD guarding? That nigga can't stick defense.
None of them was playing good defense. The Nets have like Bruce Brown and Clanston was probably their best defenders.
Okay, I can understand. I can understand the small ball.
But I'm saying LA wouldn't have helped it defensively, which was their issues. They had enough scoring.
Nah, they
like
because
you
rebounded.
You look at game one, right? Look at game one. They lost by 1. Look at game 2. They lost that game. They got blown out. Game 3, I can't remember the score. Game 4, they lost by 5. KD missed two 3-pointers that probably could have put them up. Like they weren't far. They weren't
missed free throws.
Right, and he missed free throws. So they weren't
far
far off from. They weren't far off from beating Boston in some of these games. They didn't have enough defense to slow down a Tatum, a Brown, and guard Williams shooting threes in the corner. Like if they would have had a couple stops, which goes to my point of Ben Simmons with the whole unreliable thing at the bottom that you got. Ben Simmons would have covered for some of those
that defense.
Some of the defense that they were lacking. Definitely that they were lacking. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that Boston
the big man on the boards too. They was getting messed up.
Clanston, but Drummond, they had him for boards, but I think they felt like Drummond wasn't giving them enough on offense or whatever, or he wasn't quick enough to stay with Tatum like Clanston was.
You got KD. I know.
Yeah. So
you got KD and Kyrie. Like,
but if you paid close attention, what happened when Tatum was guarding KD? He got 2 fouls. They switched Tatum off Brown. This is smart basketball. They switched Brown onto KD and put Tatum on somebody else. So, I mean, I'm trying not to take away from Boston's defense because they play really good defense. So, with the whole KD slander, I understand he's supposed to force the issue and make shots, but we can't take away from the good defense that Boston plays. You can't take away from it.
But I will say if Ben Simmons would have played, I think it would have affected Jason Tatum to a certain degree.
It would have. Look, because KD had to bring the ball up. Kyrie wasn't bringing the ball. Kevin Durant was bringing the ball up. They was blitzing him. He was turning the ball over. Ben Simmons could have defended, grabbed rebounds, and brought the ball up and playmaking. That's all they needed. Dragic wasn't doing it. Patty Mills sure wasn't. Patty Mills disappointed me out of everybody on this team. He was one of the players disappointed. I thought he was going to be a little bit better scoring off the bench.
But
it's just so many factors in their season that just could have went completely different, and it didn't go the way it's supposed to. So
you
at that point,
I just feel like
what really did it was when KD was talking mess to Jason Tatum.
You talking about the Olympic?
Yeah, at the Olympic. That's what
really. But KD's a trash. Like KD, like he gonna have to eat that. But KD's a trash talk. Like he be hooping. So I mean, he's a hooper. It happens.
I ain't gonna lie. You deal with you deal what you get. Ain't no excuses. No excuses.
Ain't no excuses.
No excuses. Just produce. And they didn't do it.
Ain't nobody. Everybody was coming at the Lakers because the Lakers was definitely supposed to make it with Westbrook, AD. Of course, AD got hurt, and then LeBron. He's older, but LeBron was still scoring. So I mean, both of those teams got a lot of work to do as far as retooling their roster. And they both Steve Nash ain't going nowhere. I think they already said it. But the Lakers' new head coach is gonna have to be somebody that could,
I'm gonna switch the question up right quick.
For sure.
So Philly was up 3-0. Now they lost 2 in a row. Now the series 3-2 with Toronto. I'm finna throw y'all some stats right now of James Harden's performance. So game one he was 6 of 17. Game two he was 3 of 9. Game three he was 7 of 13. Game four he was 5 of
Why
17.
James Harden keep getting passes?
And then the
Why
last
he keep
game,
getting
Don't get no
passes?
and then
fucking passes
the
either.
last game, game five, he was 4 of 11. So
Is he injured? Is he
And
injured?
half of them was threes too.
I think that hamstring injury, what Stephen A was saying, I think he ain't been the same ever since that hamstring injury.
Juice
When he's
mute,
on
bro.
the net, he ain't really been the same. Like his explosiveness doesn't look the same anymore.
He don't really attack the basket like he used to.
But even Embiid obviously been doing Embiid things, but I think this is a series people think Toronto. People think Toronto can force a game 7. They in Toronto, I think tonight. So it's gonna be Siakam. I think he had 30 last game.
I like Siakam.
Scotty
Is-
Barnes is
is-
going
is
to
Van- Is Van Vliet playing?
Huh?
Is Fred playing?
I think Fred got hurt, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think Fred
I
got
don't know if
hurt.
he's playing
I'm not
today,
sure. I'm not
but
sure if he's
they
playing.
got Gary Trent back, so that's huge for them.
So I feel like Philly problem. I think they kind of coming at B's right thumb because he tore a ligament. So I think they may be giving him some issues, but he's still deciding to play. So I mean that it is what it is. Okay, so James Harden playing bad, but what about Tobias Harris? Like, what about the rest of these guys on this team? Tobias Harris always been the issue for me. Like Harden, it doesn't matter how well Harden is. I mean, of course Harden needs to play better, but they went from having a player in Ben Simmons to getting at least a player who's playing. So I mean, Philly got better just off that aspect.
Hey, let me get some credit to Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey, but he ain't did nothing since that first game.
It's
So
that
he
big
needs
blue.
to be needs to be aggressive. But my thing is the Sixers got a player who's actually playing, who's actually passing the ball, whatever. So I mean, Harden, they know he's on and off in the playoffs. Like he's gonna have to be more aggressive tonight. But my main concern is Tobias Harris, because what are you doing? You just standing there like you playing defense, you shooting, like what are you doing? So
see, the thing I'm concerned about is, say the Sixers do win in advance. Look who they potentially got to play. You got probably Milwaukee or the Heat.
Do they play Milwaukee in the
I don't know if they win. I don't know who they would play next round. I didn't
The Celtics will play Milwaukee if they win.
Right. So the Sixers will play the Heat,
Miami if they win.
And Miami will win that series.
Yeah, Miami. Yeah.
Looking at how they playing right now, Jimmy Butler got like knee soreness or whatever, but they still like finished the Hawks like they were supposed to. But if they get Jimmy back and they playing against the Sixers, Jimmy gonna be in their head. He's gonna.
Who the Sixers? I mean, not the Sixers. Who the Heat got is gonna stop Embiid though? I mean, I know.
You're not gonna stop. You only try to slow him down. You only try to slow him down. But the Heat, if I had to list defensive teams, it's Boston, then it's Miami. As far as like how aggressive they play and how they help each other on defense, and then the Heat got a whole bunch of shooters on their team. So you double Embiid real quick, and he make a bad decision. The Heat on the other end already putting Tyler Hero putting up a 3, Duncan putting up a 3. You know what I'm saying? Then you got PJ Tucker. They got guys they can throw at Embiid to kind of help slow him down.
Yeah,
but that's gonna be on James. But that's gonna be on James Harden to be dominant. And if James Harden is not dominant versus the Heat, the Sixers gonna be at home getting swept as well.
But the way they just slowed Trae Young down, that's what I'm thinking. Like
that's what I'm saying. If Boston number 1 defensively, then the Heat definitely number 2.
76ers got to get through Toronto first, because if they keep playing like they've been.
Is we gonna bring up the Trae Young thing later?
Yeah. We is.
He ready to come in.
We gonna actually, since we already talking about it, let's bring it up. So Trae Young in that series versus the Heat only averaged 15 a game. So
but before we get into it, let's not take away from the Heat being a good defensive team.
Yeah.
Let's not take away.
But
and then we can come at
Like,
Trae
they
Young
was
head
switching,
top.
like,
But
you see
the
that
one thing I will
they
say
did a
though,
good job.
They
They did a good
switching
job.
back and forth
the one
over and
thing
over again.
the one thing I will say, and this is what separates Steph from Trey. Trey don't like the way Steph can move without the ball.
Right.
Trey Young not there yet, but at the same time, Trey Young did shoot a lot of crazy shots
But
during the games I see this season.
is that coaching and player personnel, or is that just Steph and Trey doing? Because I mean, they don't have like real playmakers on the team besides Trey.
Yeah,
Really.
I will say, I thought after the last year when they played Milwaukee, I thought Atlanta should have personally went out and get another star to put next to Trey Young, because let's be honest, John Collins can't be your second best player on the team. I think he could be your third best, but I think Atlanta got to go out and get them like another star to pair with Trey Young.
Like a more playmaker. Like a
Yeah,
playmaker.
like Atlanta kind of in the same boat as kind of Memphis, like in terms of how they roster his place. Like Ja Morant, the only superstar on that team.
The difference between Ja and Trey, Ja, he can't shoot as good as Trey, but his ability to attack the basket, it's hard to like keep him at bay, because it's like as soon as he attacking the basket, he's just gonna kick it out. Trey Young, he rely on more his shooting and his floaters for the most part.
So Baines, man, he been keeping them in the game.
I'm not sleeping on Bane at all. I'm just saying, like, as far as if we talking about point guards, like the difference between Ja and Trey Young, like.
And to be honest, I'm surprised they traded Cam Reddish. I think he could have, if they would have developed him. I think he can still be a good.
But so from a GM aspect, it's like they have like what, 4 wings.
Yeah,
so they had to get rid of one of them. They had to get rid of one of them because he wasn't getting no playing time over Herter, Gallinari, and those other guys.
Gallinari barely played in the series. Like, to be honest,
I would go with DeAndre Hunter. He ain't been doing shit since he got drafted. And
well, maybe they're looking at his upside. But Gallinari had a good season for the Hawks. But as far as Hunter, yeah, he has been inconsistent. But I don't know. Maybe they felt like Hunter was a better defensive player than Reddish. I don't know. I'm not sure what the talk was for that. But they did have a lot of small forwards at that spot. So one of them had to go.
And I almost forgot for a minute. Miami had Oladipo. He had a decent game yesterday too.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Butler being out definitely gave Oladipo an opportunity to play, give him some minutes, and he took opportunity. Like, you got Oladipo coming off the bench. You got Oladipo coming off the bench like that, and he dropping 15 or whatever he had. Like, that's good look for the Heat, for sure.
All right.
My thing with Trae Young, Atlanta needs another bona fide scorer or starter. He address that in the offseason. This offseason, like he needs somebody to take the load off, because he dominates the ball so much and he kills the offense because he dominates it so much. And when teams are preparing to play the Hawks, they're just like double, triple trade, because he's the only focal point of offense. Yeah. Dante, I completely agree with you. John Collins is a great player, but he is not a number 2. He is a number 3 option on a good team. He's a good player, but they need another star wing player to pair with Trae Young, take some of the offensive.
Well, how many wings they gonna draft? Every year I feel like they draft a wing, and it's just.
I'm just saying they need a star, like.
Yeah.
I get a Bradley Beal. Like, if you go try to get Bradley Beal,
even if you draft a rookie, bro, like I say, like if they can find a way and get up in the draft and get like a Jaden Ivey or something like that, another guard or somebody who can like create their own and get a bucket. That's what they need, because Trae kills their offense. He's a gun. Like, he a gun. Like, not gonna lie. And he don't play defense either. But their teams are prepping them by, we're going to triple double team Trae. And once they do that, it's a wrap. He turned the ball over. He forcing shots. He doing all this other shit because.
And then you got to think how they roster put together. Like,
and he don't trust his teammates. He don't trust his teammates.
Like. No, you can go, Juice. My fault.
No, you good. I'm just saying he don't trust his teammates. Trae Young, clearly, you can see he don't trust nobody. on that team to make a bucket. So
Yeah, I was gonna say Clint Capella, like and John Collins, they not really big. John Collins can probably get his own shot a little bit, but they how they offense is designed is for Trey Young to set them up. So if Trey Young having a bad game, then they doomed. So that's all I really got to
Hey,
say about Atlanta.
before we get into your next topic, did you put like the most improved player award on here? Because I want to talk about that.
So you talking about Ja Morant, right?
Yeah, I don't agree with it.
Okay.
I don't agree with him winning the award.
me neither.
Okay.
Jordan Poole should have won.
Jordan Poole definitely. I feel like the award should go to a player who was like not on the radar and made themselves become to be on the radar since the prior. Ja Morant was on everybody's radar as far as like being one of the top guards in the league. Nobody was really thinking about Jordan Poole last year, and he came out and he's been playing. He started averaging like 15 points a game or something
And
like
Darius
that.
Garland definitely approved too. I'll give him his credit.
Darius Garland, yeah. So I mean, I feel like Ja, like mind you, Ja did give to the award to his teammate Bane, so that was nice of him. But I felt like he probably should have been the one to get the award. I feel like it probably should have been like Jordan Poole or Darius
And
Garland.
Jordan Poole
That's
was
just
in the
my
G
opinion.
League. He was in the G League last year.
I think they looked at Ja's points and was like, okay, he was averaging 15. Now he's averaging he started averaging like 25 points a game or something, which is a big leap.
It's
but
like 28. He averaged like 27.8 a game.
Yeah, which is it's a really big leap, but it's like he was already proven to like do that. We didn't expect to see Jordan Poole play like this season. That's just my opinion. We can move on to the next topic. I don't know if everybody agree with me or not, but that's my personal opinion.
I think Poole should have got it.
Yeah.
But
we can move on. Yeah, we can move on.
So we talked about this before. So the Utah Jazz, they're down 3-2. Now I think this is actually a series that could have went both ways, Utah and Dallas. But the thing that's interesting is the games Luka was out, Dallas like outperformed them. Like I talked about earlier, Jalen Brunson, who they got, Maxi Clep, like they got a whole bunch of shooters on their team. Reggie Bullock. But we talk about the Jazz every year. Like we just talked about Atlanta. Donovan Mitchell, the only star on that team. Rudy Gobert's a good defensive mind in the center, but he can't be the second best option on your team. So should they just? I think the series over. I think Dallas gonna eventually win it. But do you think the Jazz should blow the roster up after this season?
I think they should trade everybody.
I agree.
So would you trade Rudy Gobert?
I'm trading Rudy and I'm trading Donovan Mitchell and I'm calling it a day.
Hold on. Donovan Mitchell.
I'm trading everybody. It's not working.
Hey, I
it's
agree.
Not gonna work.
Trading Donovan Mitchell.
I agree.
Okay, so even if you trade Rudy Gobert, who do you put around Donovan? Like Donovan Mitchell he's a great player. He's an all-star, but I haven't seen anything where I feel like he's gonna win me a championship like right now.
Because he ain't really had a star. He ain't had another star with him.
Bro, Dave,
I don't think Donovan Mitchell could be a superstar on a championship team. I don't think he'd be the number one.
Yeah, I just feel like his value is high right now. You just trade Gobert and Donovan Mitchell and you call it a day, bro. I mean, they've tried to add pieces around him and Rudy for the past 3 seasons, and it has not worked. They've been a number 1 seed, and they still lost. I forgot who they lost to. I'm gonna have to look it up later on. But they were the number 1 seed, and they didn't get to the finals. That's it. They've reached their ceiling when they were the number 1 seed. After that, they tried to get Mike Conley, and that didn't work. I mean, what more can you do? What more players could you put? And who wants to go play in Utah? Somebody tell me.
Hey.
Right, Jordan. Nobody. So, blow it up. Just get you a whole bunch of draft picks. Try to get the number 1 pick and get a dude from Duke or a dude from Gonzaga, and just try to rebuild. It's not working. It's not working. I say trade everybody.
Okay. What you think, X?
Uh,
The Jazz right now.
I feel like I wouldn't trade everybody. I mean, I know. You said that they've been trying to build pieces around Donovan Mitchell for a couple of years now, but like, who they gonna trade? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, who they gonna trade for? I should say, like, who?
Draft picks
I know,
and young players.
Yeah, but so what you want them to go through what the Sixers did in the trusted process?
They might as well because it's not working.
4-5 years. Like
That's what Boston did. That's This is what Boston did, bro. All those players Boston drafted. They drafted all of them.
Exactly.
The Warriors drafted all they played. The Warriors drafted everybody on most of the players on the Warriors team they drafted. You have to build through the draft. Like sometimes you can't go get all the top free agents. Nobody wants to go to Utah. Nobody wants to go to these small market teams. That's just the way it's always been. So they're not going to get any top free agents to come to the Jazz to help them out. You might as well trade them. Get you a stock of draft. This is what OKC is doing. Years from now, OKC may be a decent team. They trying to build up through the draft. They have a foundation. Right now, the Jazz are just underachieving. They're underachieving. They should be sweeping Dallas right now with the defensive players that they do have, and they're not. They're getting Luka single-handedly.
To be honest with you, I feel like they ain't been the same since COVID. They ain't been the same since
That's not an excuse because all teams had to go through COVID.
No,
that's not an excuse.
Wait, hold on. I'm not talking about COVID itself. They ain't been the same since that shit happened.
Are you talking about with Rudy and Donovan?
Yeah, when Rudy and Donovan Mitchell got into it about COVID. Like when Rudy, like when it was going around that Rudy gave everybody COVID and shit. They ain't been the same since then. Like they can, like, to me, they chemistry been off since then.
So you just added to my point that both of them need to go.
Not both of them. One of them needs to
go.
I'm
gonna tell you what happened.
Bro, okay, so even if you trade one or the other, they're still not gonna make the playoff. You get rid of one of them, they definitely not make the playoffs.
Like, yeah, okay, like they still not gonna make the playoffs, but I don't feel like they need to just blow up the whole roster. I feel like they need to choose one of them, either Rudy or Donovan Mitchell, which I feel like it should be Donovan Mitchell, and continue to build around them.
Why?
Because that's they star players. That's they two.
No, I'm gonna tell you. I'll be the first to tell you.
Sell tickets. No, they gonna. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be the first to tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I think is gonna happen. I think Donovan Mitchell if they lose the series, I think he's gonna be fed up to the point. I think he just might end up requesting the trade. Now I don't know if D Wade might persuade him to stay, but it all started when they was up 3 on the Nuggets, and then they was up 3-1 on the Nuggets in the bubble, and then they came back and beat them when they had Jamal Murray dropped 50, and
back to back.
They lost last year when they was the number 1 seed to the Clippers, I believe. Donovan Mitchell might end up requesting a trade. I feel like
if I'm Donovan Mitchell, I'm calling up D-Wade, be like, "Hey, look, I'm sorry, I respect you, but I need to go."
Yeah, what have they done for you to put the pieces around?
Send me to Memphis. Send me somewhere.
Trade Joe Ingles.
Send me Donovan Mitchell to the Nuggets would be perfect.
That's an I don't know who they would trade, but
Murray, Donovan Mitchell, and Jokic. Give them Michael Porter and whoever else they want. Send Donovan Mitchell to the Nuggets.
All right. So it's another.
Send Rudy Gobert to the Bulls because I'm biased.
All right. So another quick question right here. So it's a lot of people that got, like, we talked about Memphis a little bit, but I'm gonna bring it back. There's a lot of people that think Memphis might be the best team in the West. They kind of at a high. Kendrick Perkins said that. Just to clarify what I'm saying,
bro. Don't believe Kendrick Perkins.
First off, don't
because they not.
First off, okay. So for one, since we bring up Memphis and they series, people have been disrespecting Minnesota. I don't know why. Like, Minnesota's not getting. They had a really good regular season. They got 3 really good players. Karl-Anthony Towns, he's been dominant all season. D'Angelo. And Anthony Edwards is a dog, bro. Yeah. He's a dog.
D'Angelo Russell got to play better. I will say
Edwards, look, Edwards could come into the game and be like, I'm trying to drop 30. And which one of y'all gonna stop me? That's the type of player he is. Like, I really like his game, and I really feel like he can go. They can go as far as him and Karl-Anthony Towns could take them. I feel like they could win this series. Ja Morant hit that layup game winner. That was a good shot. That was a good move. But Minnesota, if they don't do nothing this year, next year they're gonna be. I mean, they're gonna be even better. They just need probably like a couple more shooters. That's it.
D-Lo got.
I feel about Minnesota and Cat. I fucks with Cat. I been like since he came in.
Yeah.
I think they just need to like Memphis, like Minnesota, like Utah. Like who gonna go to Minnesota? I think they just gotta just keep drafting decent quality players
who play better. D-Lo has to play like he was like All-Star year when he was with Brooklyn.
Yeah.
He
gotta play better.
Play better, bro. Or they not gonna be.
If Minnesota had as many shooters as Memphis did, Minnesota would have won this series already. If but that was one thing I can say about Minnesota, they don't have enough shooting as far as keeping up with Memphis as far as 3-point shooting, but they right there.
If you think about it, this series should be over. That one game they was up by 26 and they blew the lead, and then they was up yesterday in the game yesterday, and then they blew the lead. Like Memphis should have actually won this series already. Like this series should be over. They should have won game 2, I believe. Yeah, so that's all we can talk about with that. But I will ask y'all, this is probably gonna be our last question. So who should be the favorites to win the title? I will say Golden State. Not even just because of Steph though, but you got Clay back, Poole came to a different level. Draymond Green healthy. But I feel like if you look at them on paper from their whole roster, I feel like who can really beat them in 7 games. You could look at a team like Boston, who's a good defensive minded team. I see why a lot of people are high on them, but it's hard waking up and game planning against Steph, Clay, Draymond. Like you don't know what they can do. Andrew Wiggins. Oh, we know they don't got Wiseman. Wiseman would be a great addition, but
I mean, I feel like Golden State is a good pick. I mean, they got a lot of playoff experience. They got a lot of chemistry. As far as like being dominant in the playoffs right now, I feel like Milwaukee got a good chance to go all the way. Not gonna say they're gonna win the title, but I mean they got a good chance. Boston with their defense, they have a good chance to like beat some teams. So like Milwaukee and Boston probably at the top of the East. Miami is the wild card, and then if I had to go Western Conference, I would probably say the Warriors. Of course, the Suns when Booker get healthy, the Suns got they got a good like bench and starting rotation. Like the Suns are deep. So of course the Suns, the Warriors, and I don't know if I have a wild card in the West. I mean, we'll see how far Memphis go if they win the series against Minnesota. But yeah, I think the Warriors and the Suns are my top picks, and then probably Boston, Milwaukee on the other side, with Miami as the wild card.
I think I'm gonna go the same way. I feel like right now the Warriors probably the best team in the playoffs right now, with Devin Booker being hurt. If Devin Booker wasn't hurt, I still have the Suns winning the whole thing. Not even gonna lie to you. Just based off their complete body of work, the way Devin Booker was playing, the way Chris Paul was still playing, the way the chip they have on their shoulder from last year, losing to Milwaukee and everything. I think they should have won. With Brooklyn now being out of the playoffs, that was my favorite. And my pick in the East, it's definitely Milwaukee. Honestly, it's a toss-up. Milwaukee or Boston. The way Boston is playing defense, it really can go either way. Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Really Jason Tatum, but he's emerging as one of the best young. He already was one of the best players, but he's emerging as like a star in the game now. So you already know about Unstoppable, and they're just Milwaukee's defensive prowess as a unit great too.
Giannis alone is what kind of like tilts it for me.
Yeah. Only reason I say Boston because Chris Middleton is out. So we gonna see how that. The wild card definitely for the Heat definitely be definitely. That's not but, but, but that's what
X, who your favorite to win the title?
My favorite to win the Bulls, nigga. Of course. No, I'm just playing.
Oh my god! Take the damn hat off.
My favorite to win the title though, I'll have to say I feel like Milwaukee will repeat. They either them like I feel like whoever win out of Milwaukee and the Celtics, to be honest with you, because Milwaukee they playing phenomenal and the Celtics defense is just unstoppable right now. So I feel like whoever win out of them two, like because they play next round, right? If they win, so yeah. I feel like whoever win out of them two out of that series is gonna
No, I
win.
ain't like Milwaukee and Boston. I think will go to 7. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
I
most definitely. They definitely going to 7.
Like man, in Milwaukee is gonna be jumping, and Boston is gonna be like
Middleton come back. Oh yeah, it's gonna be one, bro. Like
And I want to see what they're gonna do with Giannis. You know, a couple years ago when Toronto had Kawhi, they kind of put like a wall in front of him. But Giannis obviously
yeah.
has grown. He won a championship, so it's gonna be interesting to see. You know, Drew Holiday versus Marcus Smart. Like it's good. It's like just a good matchup on paper. Brook Lopez.
During the season, I would have said Golden State got a run like when Clay came back because Steph and them was going off for a little minute, but then like once Clay came back, it was like they kind of like slowed down. I don't know what happened. I don't
Well, I
know.
think they look better. I think they kind of figured it out a little bit now during the playoffs, like Poole, Curry. It's basically like
Yeah,
he just got the hot hand now. And
and wasn't Curry coming off the bench one game too, something like that?
yeah, they ain't gonna last too long. But
No.
just the fact Draymond and all them back, he running the offense. Golden State being a good defensive team. You got Gary Payton the second. Like the Warriors got a lot of options. Like it's hard to the Golden State. It's so hard to guard them. Like it's hard to game plan against them because they switch on the screens. They do all these things. Like it's hard to wait. Like it's hard to play them in a 7-game series. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's just like Miami though. Like they switch on every screen. Like see how it was. See what they was doing to Trey. Like they switched on every screen with Trey. Like and it was like covering him every time he got that ball.
The only problem with Miami is you don't know who's gonna take that last shot. Like you would think Jimmy Butler, but
it could be
you wouldn't put him on the same level scoring wise as like Jason Tatum or maybe even Jaylen Brown to a certain degree. But yeah,
it can be any of them. It could be Tyler. It could be Duncan. It could be like you said, Kyle Lowry. Any of them can take that last shot. But
yeah.
I feel like I feel like when it comes down to it, it'll mess around and be Jimmy, depending on like how many points they need. Like if they need a 3 or something like that, it'll probably be like Tyler Hero or Duncan. But if they only need like a 2, I feel like it'll be Jimmy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really interesting series. But yeah, we finna wrap up the show here.
Good talk, y'all. Good talk.
I know it's been a long time. It's been like 3 months since last show was, but that's on me.
Yeah, that's all right, man. My bad. I don't know why I can't
DJ, Mr. Working nights, Mr. Getting his masters. You ain't gotta explain nothing to nobody.
Oh yeah, you do all good, bro.
DJ Great over here.
A lot of people been at. A lot of people saying
we just blessed to be in your presence, bro. Like,
man. But yeah,
for real, come get your niece though, because I don't have time for this. I don't.
You look scared right now.
She should be. Once I get off this podcast, she should